Today, I want to talk to you who feel inflamed, need an anti-inflammatory diet, but also have some associated conditions, like fatty liver, hepatic steatosis, overweight or obesity, and insulin resistance. If you have any of these three conditions and need to follow an anti-inflammatory diet, come with me, because I'm going to explain the anti-inflammatory low-carb diet. For people with fatty liver, excess weight, obesity, and insulin resistance or diabetes, the most recommended diet is low-carb. But many of these people, including my students, also have autoimmune diseases, migraines, acid reflux, bloating, gas. In other words, they need to reduce inflammation. And not just any low-carb diet will work, because some may worsen the other symptoms. That's why today I'm talking about the anti-inflammatory low-carb diet. In this diet, you follow the same steps as a typical anti-inflammatory diet. We have several videos on the channel about that. But with low-carb food choices. For example, in the morning, when you have your green juice or shot, no problem with those, because their base is lemon, turmeric, ginger, propolis. I've already mentioned these in other videos, but in your green juice, use only one low-carb fruit. Example, use lemon juice as the base and add half an apple or a small piece of peach or plum. Just a little fruit and more active ingredients. What are the active ingredients? Ginger, fresh herbs like rosemary or cilantro. Lemon juice is always the base. You shouldn't use a bunch of fruits. Are fruits healthy? Yes, but for those with fatty liver, diabetes, or insulin resistance, you can't start the day with foods that spike your insulin, that will only prevent inflammation from going down. As for breads, go for low-carb breads. It's not enough for them to be gluten-free. You need to use low-carb flours, such as passion fruit flour, eggplant flour, flaxseed flour, coconut flour, almond flour, cashew flour. These flours won't raise your insulin levels and will also help fight fatty liver. You can use them to make your breads, or simply eat eggs, which are already great for breakfast. Seeds like pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds are also good options for breakfast. At lunch, the only difference is that in a regular anti-inflammatory diet, for people who don't have these conditions, they can eat regular white rice, not brown rice, because the bran is avoided. But for those with fatty liver, obesity, insulin resistance, or who want to lose weight, we replace rice with quinoa, cauliflower rice, or more vegetables. Avoid regular rice and root vegetables like sweet potatoes, cassava, and yams. Use small portions and be cautious. This will also help reduce daily calorie intake and achieve your goals. At dinner, the same approach applies. Many of my students have soups at night. If it's hot where you live, make a lighter, cooler soup and add a little grilled food, like white meat, for greater satiety. Or go for raw salads, which are always welcome, low in carbs, and full of fiber. For an afternoon snack, choose iced teas, no fruit juices, a small coffee if you like, nuts, seeds, coconut flakes. These won't spike your insulin, which is important to help with fatty liver and weight loss. But remember, everything is about quantity. Can you eat nuts? Yes, but not half a kilo. Stick to 30 grams at that moment, okay? If you had eggs in the morning, can you have a low-carb bread in the afternoon? Yes, no problem. Also remember that milk and heavy cream are not allowed in the anti-inflammatory diet. But you can use plant-based milks, such as almond milk, cashew milk, homemade coconut milk. You can blend them with low-carb fruits like avocado, apple, or passion fruit. It tastes great. Try blending the passion fruit seeds. Try new things. Experiment with new flavors and combinations. For juices, always prefer lemon, passion fruit, acerola, strawberry, red berries, or kiwi, if available in your area. These fruits are low in carbohydrates. Other fruits are not recommended for juice. Can you eat a piece of a high-carb fruit as a dessert? Yes, just don't overdo it. So if you have acid reflux, migraines, bloating, gas, joint or muscle pain, and also have been diagnosed with fatty liver, insulin resistance, or diabetes, or if you need to lose weight, you need to follow a low-carb diet. But not just any low-carb, you also need it to be anti-inflammatory. That's why I'm giving you this tip. Combine both into an anti-inflammatory low-carb diet. Start today. Make your shopping list and begin so you can reduce all these symptoms, okay? If you haven't liked the video yet, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs this kind of diet right now. And soon I'll bring more updates and tips for you. See you soon.